Hello guys, I am back. Today's video is basically going to be a simple brown soft smoked out eye. Y'all, she turned 6 months and I guess that means it's just time for her to turn up. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Go ahead and spit. She does this thing where she will literally, like, when you say something to her, either she thinks it's funny or she don't like it or she trying to talk back, she spits at you like a complete spit in your face. My kids, I tell you. But yeah, I just want to look sexy today. Like, I got on like a nice little sheer robe type with a nice cute little silhouette going on here. I will show you guys what I have on in the end, but without further ado, let's get into this get ready with me. All right, so today basically what I want to talk about with you guys is the birth of my children. As most of you know that's been following me, I have 2 kids. She's doing all this but don't want to sit up. Anyways, I have 2 kids. I have a fun, rambunctious 1-year-old and a growing 6-month-old. Can you tell I'm busy? And this right here is just like it's kind of like a lip exfoliator, but it's a lip balm. Has like little gold specks in it. It's from Pure. It's called the Superstar. And if you were paying attention to my nails, please do not judge me. I took my nails off because I was in this pact with my coworker that we can't spend over $100 per pay period on non-essential things. And we decided that nails were non-essential. So these 2 pinkies are holding on for dear life. In this together. They're holding on for dear life. I can't get them shits off. But we're going to talk about the birth of my beautiful kids. So let's start with the 1-year-old. My pregnancy with the 1-year-old, with Namora, was, I don't want to say awful because I feel like that sounds bad, but I had a really bad pregnancy. Like, especially in the beginning, I was like sick the entire time in the beginning. I don't think my sickness stopped until I was like 7 months, 6, 7 months. I would always get sick. If y'all can hear me, great. If you can't, I'm so sorry. But up until 6 months, I threw up at least 3 times a day. Like, it was pretty bad. And like, people be like, oh, well, that's normal. I don't care what nobody said. The way I threw up was not normal. Like, I would tell people I will never, ever, ever, ever forget Easter again. Because the Easter that I was pregnant with her, the Easter that I was pregnant with that child, I threw up 36 times. Just a casual Sunday, you know? Yes, I threw up 36 times. Now, you tell me in the book of pregnancy where that's normal. Or if any of you guys have kids and went through a similar situation, please enlighten me. Because everybody I know, they say, wow, 36, that's a little OD. Tell me about it. Like, it got to a point where everybody was like, oh, drink water. Okay, I'll drink water, but when I drink water, literally, I will throw it right back up. So I was throwing up everything all the time, and I was just always sick. I to a point where like I would throw up my food, then I would throw up the yellow liquidy stuff, and then I will throw up, it would be like spit, then it turns into blood, and then I will dry heave. Doesn't that sound marvelous? Who doesn't want to do that 36 times a day? I see my little chicken neck jiggling down. But yes, it was pretty bad. So yeah, so being pregnant with that child was a whirlwind. I also got gestation. She's never this loud. Like, never this loud. Rima. But I had gestational diabetes with her. I got diagnosed with hypertension, not hypertension, hyperemesis gravidarum. The fancy term of, bitch, you gonna throw up the whole day, the whole entire time. So I would constantly have to get my blood pressure checked because they didn't diagnose me with hypertension, but they were like, we just need to watch your blood pressure. So okay, cool. So towards the end of my pregnancy, I had to go to the doctor at least, it was almost every day, to check my blood pressure. I was 38 weeks and I was at my doctor's appointment and they were checking my blood pressure and they're like, well, your blood pressure is, ouch, a little elevated. So what we're gonna do is just keep you here for a little bit and monitor you. Keep in mind, I was on the way to work after my appointment. So I was like, okay, well, after we at work in an hour, she was like, well, it shouldn't take that long. Normally we just monitor you for like 30 minutes and then you're good to go. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm sitting there and I'm sitting there for like 20 minutes and she comes back and looks at my readings and she was like, you're still pretty high. We're just gonna try to relax, just sit back, relax, and we're just gonna monitor you for 15 more minutes and then you can go. So I was like, okay. So she monitors me for 15 more minutes and she comes in, unhooks me. She's like, okay, you're good to go. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm just moseying on. I was like, well, let me go get me some breakfast. I'm moseying on, you know, going about my day. I literally pull into the parking lot at work. I don't know what's up with this brow, but it's been giving me a hard time. Pull into the parking lot at work and I get a call from my doctor and they're like, hey. I was like, hey, you ready to have a baby? I was like, huh? What? She was like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and induce you today because the doctor looked at your readings and your blood pressure is just at a dangerous rate for your baby right now. So we're gonna go ahead and induce you today. So if you can just make sure you're here before 6 p.m. And keep in mind, it was like 12 when they called me. I was in Charlotte. My mom lived all the way in Raleigh. So my head literally started spinning. I didn't know what to do. So I instantly got off the phone with them. I called my boyfriend, let him know what was up. He was just laughing like, what? And I'm just like, why are you laughing? Nothing's funny. This is actually pretty scary. So then I called my mom. And she was like, stop playing. Stop lying. And I was like, Mom, no, I'm not playing. I'm not lying. They said, bring your motherfucking ass up here right now because I'm about to have a big period. And literally, like, my mom drives crazy anyways. Like, she used to drive like a turtle. I used to tell her that all the time. You drive like a turtle. Now she drives like freaking Need for Speed ×5. I don't know what's her problem. So she got to Charlotte like literally within like an hour. I'll lie to you not. So I'm like in my apartment, I'm packing my bag. Nemora's bag was already packed. I was just packing my bag, making sure I had everything, going every which way, didn't know what to do. And then they were like, well, you need to make sure you eat something because you're being induced and you ain't gonna be able to eat. I'm like, what? I ain't gonna be able to eat? That's complete torture. So I'm thinking, it ain't gonna be that long. My labor is gonna go by fast and I'll be fine. So I ate some Chinese food before we got there. So when I got there, the first thing they did was put a catheter in me to soften my cervix. And now, you know, I was just like, this don't hurt at all. The catheter didn't hurt. Throughout the night, I was having like mild cramps, but it was nothing like too alarming. Nothing too alarming that I was like, oh crap, I'm about to have a baby. Like, nothing like that yet. The next morning, they were like, that's when we're gonna start putting you on the medicine to kickstart your labor. That medicine was called Pitocin. Okay? So, next morning comes, I'm feeling a little bit more pain and anxiety, but it was nothing unbearable. It was just like a really strong period that would not stop, if that makes sense. So they come in, I couldn't eat breakfast, so I was really irritated. And they start putting the Pitocin in. So with the Pitocin, they go up every 2 levels. So they started at a 2, and I think the highest you can go is a 12 or a 20. I think it was a 20. And when it gets to 20, that's when it's at like the highest level of pain. So they start off at a 2, and I'm just like, okay, this is cool. Like, nothing's really happening. Keep in mind, I was there at 6 the night before, so it's now like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just like kind of just waiting. Everything's going by, we're lingering, time's going by super slow. So everybody's having a fun time around me. My boyfriend, I messed up. My boyfriend's eating Bojangles, my mom's eating, I'm sitting here starving. But I was doing pretty good. And then I'll never forget, she just kept coming in like every 2 hours, bumping up the medicine. And when she got up to level, I want to say 6. This was around like maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, all right. This is really starting to hurt. Like, don't touch the monitor again, nurse. For real. If you don't want these hands laid on you, don't touch the monitor. And everything was starting to get on my nerves. Like, my mom had this really obnoxious ringtone. It was like drums or something. I'll never forget, because I was like, and she had it up on the highest level. And I was like, can you please turn it off? She was like, who are you talking to? I'm like, the only one with the ringtone. Turn it off. And so, push comes to shove. The pain started getting really, really bad. My water breaks. I didn't even feel my water breaking. It was just like, they were standing up changing my my pads on the bed, and I was like, oh, I'm peeing. She was like, oh honey, that's not pee, that's your water's breaking. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, we're about to get things started. So this was around like 5 o'clock. So the pain was just too unbearable. It was unbearable. So I was like, give me an epidural now. I want it right now. But are you sure? Da da da. I was like, yes. So they gave me that IV. I had to wait for the whole IV to wear off until I can get my epidural. So when the IV finally wore off, this beautiful man, I'm gonna say he's a beautiful man because I feel like he saved my life that day. He comes in, I remember he had on like the little blue hat, these little glasses. He was like, how you doing? I was like, awful. I was just rude to everybody. I wasn't that rude, but I was rude to everybody. He was like, well, I'm about to make you feel 1,000 times better. So he comes in, everybody says, oh my God, the epidural hurts, it's scary. I felt nothing. they were like, you can only have one person. So my boyfriend, he's a little wuss, so he left. My mom stayed in the room with me, and she like held my hand. She was like, all right, you got to be super, super still. The only problem was being super still during a contraction. That was the hard part. That was the hard part. But I was super still because I needed that pain to stop. So I got the epidural. I did not feel it. Literally, as soon as they put it in, I felt 1,000 times better. Like, it was like magic. As he's walking out, I was like, I love you. He was like, a lot of women do. But I felt nothing. So they like placed me back on the bed. They're like, all right, you're about to start feeling kind of weird, but don't be alarmed. It's just the medicine. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, la la la, don't feel no contraction, great. And I was like, hold up. I can't feel my legs. My mom was like, Natasha, stop playing. You play too much. I was like, no, mommy, I really cannot feel or move my legs. She was like, something ain't right. You need to try to do this, try to do that. I was like, I can't move my legs. And the doctor was like, it's normal. If you never had an epidural before, it can be a little bit stronger on your body than others. And I was just like, okay, well, it is what it is. I just can't move my legs. It is what it is. As long as I don't feel that pain, I'm good. So, and keep in mind, it was like 4 or 5 o'clock when this was happening. Maybe even 3 o'clock. Because when I said it was a long night after that, I'm just sitting there watching the clock, waiting for something to happen. Nothing was happening. Mora was still up high. She could care less about entering the world. She wanted to make her entrance. And my best friend's birthday is on the 4th. And I wanted my daughter to come on the 3rd. Because, you know, that's my best friend's birthday. Have your own birthday, girl. I wanted my daughter to have her own unique birthday. So I was like, look, she need to do something. It's the 3rd. It's already hitting 7 o'clock. Something need to happen. So around 7 o'clock, that's when I started feeling like pressure down there, you know, like she was coming. So they checked me. I was still like 6 centimeters, but they kept checking me every like 30 minutes and I was getting up there. So around 10 o'clock, that's when the doctor said, all right, we're gonna start pushing because she's pretty active. Look what I got, guys. I bought the mini palette because the big one is just obnoxious for no reason. So yeah, it was like 10 o'clock where we started pushing. So keep in mind, I'm still trying to keep everything intact, keep myself sane. I'm sorry, we're using this color. And we start pushing. And you know, this is my first baby. I didn't know really how to push. I just thought we push. You know, they were like, make it like you have to poop. You know, it's just like, but I don't want to poop on the bed. I'm like, girl, if you don't push. So we're pushing. We tried everything. We tried me on my hands and knees. We tried the ball. We tried everything. And nothing really was working. Like, Namora was still pushing back up. By this time, it was like, the doctor was like, my doctor was amazing though. She was she was amazing. She was trying everything. And the way she spoke was so soft spoken. She just made everything seem like it was going to be okay. So she was like, I don't know the nurse's name, but I'm gonna say it was Stacy. She was like, Stacy, go get the mirror. So I'm like, what is she talking about? What's the mirror? They brought in this really, really huge mirror, sat it like behind me so I can literally see all up in my vagina. And they're like, when you push, I want you to look down so you can see her head. I'm like, what? So this time it was like all the dots were in and it was like, it was go time. Okay, my best friend was there and she was just like whispering the whole time, go best friend, go best friend, go best friend, you got this best friend, go best friend, go best friend. It was funny. That's all I can remember hearing from her. And that mirror, I will say, if you don't have a kid and you're about to go through labor, ask your doctor about the mirror. Because I feel like that mirror saved me. It made everything so much easier. So they brought the mirror in. I started pushing. Pushing. By this time it's 12 o'clock, so I can hang up her not being born on the 4th, because it was gonna happen. Her and my best friend were gonna have, her and her godmommy were gonna have the same birthday. So finally, we just keep pushing, and she was finally born at 1:01 on the 4th. And the mirror like saved me. And since I had that epidural, like I felt the pushing and it hurt, but it didn't hurt. It hurt. I'm not gonna say it didn't hurt. Like, her coming out was the most painful part. But like after she was born, I could function. I was so into her. I wanted to see everything that they were doing. I held her, I rocked her. I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have a beautiful baby. I just kept saying how beautiful she was. And my hospital stay was pretty good. The pictures were fun. Everything was fun after she was born. So the pregnancy was horrible, but the birth was okay. Next, Narima. Y'all. So with Narima, I was, again, 38 weeks. I was at a doctor's appointment, and I actually went to work that day. So I was at work, and I was like, hey guys, I have a doctor's appointment at 12, but I'm coming back to work, no worries. She was like, okay, cool. Let me know how it goes. I was like, it should be good. I shouldn't be getting induced until next week. Blase, blase, blah. I get to the doctor, and he's like, you're like 2 centimeters dilated. Nothing's really happening, but your blood pressure is horrible, so we're gonna go ahead and send you in. I'm like, this again? I gotta get sent in randomly when I'm supposed to go to work. Okay, so I called my job. I'm like, hey, thought I was coming back, but I'm actually not. I'm gonna have a baby. She was like, wow, okay, let me know how everything goes. So I called my mom again. She has the same story. Nuh-uh, you lying. I said, Mom, I'm not lying. Like you said, I'm having a baby. Come on. And this time I was living in Raleigh, so she was right around the corner. She was like, all right, I'm on the way. So, I packed. Her bag was already packed. Actually, her bag was not packed because I was so like, I was having contractions 2 months before she was born. So I was just like, look, I feel like she's going to come either super early or super late. So I just wasn't prepared. And I don't know, I just wasn't prepared with her. So I had to pack her bag. I packed my bag. I ate. I went and got my nails done. I was like, because my last time I had my baby, I didn't have my nails done. And you know, you take the picture with the baby and they always want you to like hold the baby with your hands. And my nails were looking like, who did it and why? So I was like, not happening this time. I literally sat and got my nails done. Everybody in the nail salon was like, oh my God, you about to have a baby today? And you're getting your nails done? I'm like, yeah, girl. They're like, you're so strong. And I was like, when you have contractions like I was having, that whole time, you can do anything, period. I don't care what nobody says. You can do anything. You're a superwoman. So, we get to, again, they told me to get there around 6. We get to the doctor, and my nurses were awful. Okay, let's just say that. They were awful. We get there. Check-in took forever. So before they even put me on Pitocin, my contractions were, they broke my water. He went in, broke my water. That was the first thing he did. No medicine, no nothing, just broke it. To help kickstart labor kind of more naturally than with the Pitocin. So after he did that, my contractions started getting really, really, like, really strong. And I remember my nose kept getting stopped up, so I couldn't breathe properly. So that was even more irritating. Like, that was super irritating. I was getting, I was getting worked up. I was getting ill. And the check-in was taking the registration was taking a long time. The nurse seemed like she was just airheaded, didn't know what was going on. She was just like, kept asking me, how do you feel? You need something? Okay, and just once. She kept saying, 1 minute, 1 minute. Everything was 1 minute with her, but it turned into 30. So I remember I get there at 6. So around 8 o'clock, my contractions were just getting super unbearable, like ridiculously strong. Like, I told people I really don't remember this labor because it was that painful. But my memory was getting shot the more I sat there and waited for something to happen. So I kept asking for tissue to blow my nose. I kept asking for water because I could not breathe. And they finally came in with the Pitocin. They started the Pitocin. It was on, I think she put it on 2. And my contractions just started. They were like back to back. I would say now they were like every 30 seconds apart. And I was trying to hold out on the epidural because I wanted to see if I could do it natural. But at this point, I was like, I need the epidural right now. She was like, okay, well, let's start your IV. They started my IV. I'm like screaming in there. Like, I'm not going to say screaming. I'm just like grunting super hard. Like, this is awful. My mom's like, everything's okay. It's fine. Greg is literally sitting on the corner and on the other side of the room, not saying anything really, because he's like, I don't have any room, all the doctors, You had room, you just didn't want to. So the IV bag was finished, and she finally comes back, and she was like, how do you feel? Give me my freaking epidural. I just wanted to, I wanted to beat her up so bad, but I couldn't. It was like that, you know, you want to beat somebody up, you just start crying because you can't beat them up the way you want to. That's how I was. So she was like, okay, so I ordered your epidural. It's coming, but I'm going to need for you to pee before we give you your epidural. I feel like she was just trying to say any and everything to get me to have this baby natural. So I'm like, okay, you want me to pee? Okay, I'll go pee. So we get up. Greg helps me to the bathroom. And as I'm walking to the bathroom, I have a contraction. And the bathroom's literally right there. Have a contraction, walk in there. Sit on the toilet, have a contraction. Okay? These contractions are now like less than seconds apart. Like, I'm just sitting there rocking back and forth, screaming. I'm like, ma'am, I can't pee. Just try. I never forget that. Just try. Anyway, so she was like, just try, just try. So I have another really, really strong contraction, and I screamed out at her, I cannot pee. And Gregory laughs, and I look at him, and I was like, it's not fucking funny. And I never, my mom's like, watch him now. And I'm just like, nobody likes me. Everyone hates me. I felt like everybody was against me. So I get back on the bed, and she was like, all right, your epidural is coming right now. So as I walk back to the bed, she was like, I need you to sit up on the bed regular. So I'm sitting up, and I instantly, at this time, it was like 10:30. I was like, I feel a lot of pressure. She was like, what do you mean pressure? Like, I was like, I feel like she's coming. She's coming like right now. I was like, she's coming. She was like, okay, well, let me check your, check you and see how far you're dilated. So I lay back on the bed, having these horrible contractions, and she like sticks her hand all the way up in me, like all the way up in me, and she goes, I can't tell. What you mean you can't tell? I was like, can you get somebody else? So this other angel, she was literally, y'all, she was like an angel sent from up above. She was this little white girl, long blonde hair. She was just so sweet. She was like, hey baby, I heard you felt like she was coming, so let me check. She stuck her hand. And then the dog snoring. She stuck her hand up in me and she was like, you are like 10 centimeters and she is right there. So we don't have time for an epidural. It's time to push. So I was like, what? I looked at my mom like, mommy. She was like, you gotta push, baby. It is what it is. You gotta push. Yeah, I'm using Orgasm blush for the first time. I actually really like it. It's really pretty. Okay. But yeah, she was just like, so, are you ready to have a baby? And I looked at my mom. I'm like going kind of crazy. I'm crying. Everything feels like it's falling apart. But I was like, I have no choice. I gotta have a baby right now. So they set me up. They get everything. They get the doctor in. Well, actually, the doctor didn't even come in. This little girl helped me the most. The nurse helped me the most. The doctor came in literally one push before Narima came out. So I never forget. She was like, all right, she's literally right here. So you're going to feel something called the ring of fire. And I'm just like, the whole time I'm like, and she was all right, push. And I pushed and I felt that ring of fire. And I don't know what overcame me, but I was like, she gotta get out now. So I pushed and she came out. And I remember after she came out, I was no good. Everything was a blur. I was not into holding my baby. I felt like I was weak. I was trembling. I had the shivers. I could not breathe. I was crying. They were like, oh, they laid her on my chest. I wasn't even holding her. I was just laying there like I felt like somebody had, I don't know. I feel like I went to the light and came back. For real. But it was a quick labor. Like with Namora, I was in labor for 17 hours. Narima, 6. Yep, 6 hours. She was born at 11:05. So when people ask me, would I do natural versus medicated, whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know, I'm like torn 50-50. Because I hated how long it took with Namora and how long the process was just for me to still feel some type of pain in the end. But I hated the pain with Narima, but loved how fast everything went down. I mean, it was fast. But that pain, recovering from a natural childbirth, was something serious. I will say that. Like I said, I just felt like I was dying on that daggone hospital bed. And nobody cared. I literally was like, nobody cares about me right now. Like, especially after she was born, it was all about the baby. I was sitting there breathing. I literally could not breathe. Nobody cared. Except my mom. She was like, you all right? I was like, no. She just looked still. She was like, looked at me, looked at the baby, and just looking at the baby. I would do it all again, over again in a heartbeat for my babies. Because I love my babies so much. They are very, very special to me. So this is the final look. Get to this grown woman sexy, okay? Get into it. Yes, I'm somebody's mama. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like my birth story was, with both of my kids, was a very... Y'all, I'm so sorry if it disgusts you that I scratched my ear, but I just can't help it. My ears are super clean because I'm constantly in my ears all the time, so... And in my nose. It is what it is. We're all human. But I feel like my birth story was something very anticipated. Everybody was waiting for me to talk about it. I've had a couple of my friends ask me to do a video on it. So I did. I hope you guys enjoyed it. She's just staring at me now. I feel like I should go grab her so you guys can see her. 1 second. Hey. Say hey. I'm surprised she haven't tried to pull my earring or my hair. She likes to pull earrings, hair, everything. She loves it. Hey. She is such a sweet baby, y'all. But that is the that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys later. Bye.